Picture this. You are at the airport for your very first flight. You have watched the videos, you have read the lists, and you think you know what to expect. The terminal, the security line, the boarding group, the basic stuff. On the surface, everything is going fine. Then weird things start happening that nobody prepared you for. ATS. A agent pulls your bag aside because you packed something you did not even know was banned. You hear a gate change announcement but do not realize it applies to you until everyone else has moved. Your ears feel like they are going to explode during takeoff, and you have no idea why. You see signs for TSA, pre-check and clear, but you have no clue what either of them means or whether you should care. You land safely, the seatbelt sign goes off, and you stand up immediately. Then you spend the next 12 minutes hunched over awkwardly while the plane refuses to move. The truth is, the airport mistakes that ruin first flights are not the obvious ones. They are the small, strange, unspoken things that experienced flyers know instinctively and never think to mention. The unwritten rules, the unexpected pain, the terminology nobody defines, the etiquette violations that get you dirty looks for reasons you will only figure out later. Here are 10 airport mistakes nobody warns first-time flyers about in 2026. The deeper layer. The stuff your friends will laugh about when you tell them, then admit they had no idea about either. Mistake 1. Skipping online check-in and wasting 30 minutes at the airport. First-time flyers assume that checking in happens at the airport. You arrive, you find the airline counter, you wait in line, you show your ID, and a friendly agent gives you a boarding pass. That is how it worked for decades, and it is how every old movie shows the process. In 2026, that line at the counter is mostly for people who don't know any better. Almost every airline now opens online check-in 24 hours before your flight. You log into the airline's app or website, confirm your identity, sometimes pick or change your seat, and download a digital boarding pass directly to your phone. The whole process takes about 90 seconds. You can do it from your couch, your car, your bed, anywhere with internet. Online. Check-in is that simple. By the time you reach the airport, you are already checked in. If you have no checked luggage, you can walk straight past the counter and head directly to security. The 30-minute line at the check-in desk does not apply to you. You skip it entirely. If you do have checked bags, you head to a special bag drop line that is almost always shorter than the regular check-in line. The agent takes your bag, prints your luggage tag, and sends you on your way in 2 minutes flat. First-time flyers who skip online check-in show up at the airport carrying a folder of printed paperwork or expecting to wait for someone to print their boarding pass. They stand in the regular check-in line behind 40 other people, watching the minutes tick away, while online check-in passengers walk past them like they are invisible. Set a phone reminder for exactly 24 hours before your flight. When it goes off, open the airline app and check in. Save the boarding pass to your phone, take a screenshot as a backup, and arrive at the airport already halfway through the process. In 2026, the people in the long check-in line are the ones who didn't know there was a faster way. Mistake 2. Packing items that get confiscated and that will ruin your day. First-time flyers assume anything they carry in everyday life is fine to bring on a plane. They pack their everyday backpack, their normal toiletry bag, and their usual jacket pockets full of stuff. Then they reach security, and items they did not even think about start getting pulled out and tossed. The TSA prohibited items list is longer and weirder than first-time flyers expect. Multi-tools and Swiss Army knives, even the small keychain ones, are banned from carry-on bags. Many first-time flyers carry these for years without thinking about it, then watch a $40 Leatherman get dropped into a bin at security. Scissors with blades longer than 4 inches are also restricted, which catches travelers who packed their normal sewing kit or grooming kit. Full-size aerosols and hairsprays often violate the 3.4-ounce liquid rule. Sealed water bottles you forgot to empty get tossed. Then there are the surprise items. Snow globes count as liquids. Peanut butter counts as a liquid in containers larger than 3.4 ounces. Birthday cakes can sometimes get flagged. Wrapped Christmas presents get unwrapped at security if officers cannot see what is inside. Magnets, certain tools, replica weapons, and even some toys get pulled. The really expensive surprise is electronics. Spare lithium batteries cannot go in checked luggage. They have to go in your carry-on bag. Vape devices and e-cigarettes also have to go in carry-on, never checked. First-time flyers who pack their devices in a checked suitcase can have them removed by airline staff before the bag is even loaded onto the plane. The fix is to check your specific airline's website and the TSA. What can I bring tool before you pack? Spend 5 minutes scrolling through the list. Pull anything questionable out of your bag. The 10 minutes of preparation saves you the embarrassment of having an officer dig through your toiletries while a line forms behind you. In 2026, the prohibited items list is the kind of thing experienced flyers have memorized from years of mistakes. First-timers can save themselves the lessons by reading it once. Mistake 3. The direct versus non-stop trap that costs first-time flyers hours. This is one of the cruelest tricks in the airline industry, and almost nobody warns first-time flyers about it. When you are booking flights and you see two options labeled direct and non-stop, you might assume they mean the same thing. They do not. A non-stop flight is exactly what it sounds like. You board, the plane takes off, it flies to your destination, and it lands. You do not leave your seat except to use the bathroom. The flight time on the booking page is the actual time you spend in the air. A direct flight is something else entirely. It uses the same flight number from origin to destination, but it can include one or more stops along the way. The plane may land somewhere in the middle, sit on the ground for 45 minutes to an hour while passengers get on and off, and then continue to your final destination. You usually do not have to change planes, but you do have to sit through the layover. First-time flyers booking a direct flight from Cleveland to Phoenix might think they are getting a non-stop flight. The booking page may show it as direct. They often do not realize until they board that the plane is actually flying to Denver first, sitting at the gate for an hour, and then continuing to Phoenix. What they thought was a 4-hour flight is actually 6 hours of travel. The fix is to look specifically for the word non-stop when booking, not direct. Most booking sites use both terms now and label them clearly, but a quick scan can mix them up. Always confirm by checking the flight details. If the itinerary shows any layover at all, even one with the same flight number, it is not non-stop. The price difference between direct and non-stop can be significant. Sometimes it is worth saving the money and accepting the layover, but know what you are buying. The direct flight that saved you $80 might also cost you 2 hours of your day. In 2026, airline terminology is still designed to be slightly misleading. Reading carefully is the only defense. Mistake 4. Ear pressure. Pain nobody warns first-time flyers about. Here is something that happens on every single commercial flight that almost no first-time flyer expects. As the plane climbs and descends, the air pressure inside the cabin changes faster than the air pressure inside your inner ears can adjust. The result is a pressure differential that ranges from mildly uncomfortable to genuinely painful. For some first-time flyers, takeoff and landing feel like their ears are being squeezed in a vice. The pain can be sharp enough to bring tears. They look around and see other passengers calmly reading, sleeping, or watching movies, completely unbothered. They wonder if something is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong. The pain is universal. Experienced flyers just know how to manage it. Here is how to fix it. The trick is to equalize the pressure between your inner ear and the cabin by opening the small tubes that connect your ears to the back of your throat. You do this by swallowing, yawning, or holding your nose closed and gently blowing as if you are trying to inflate a balloon. The technique is called the Valsalva maneuver. and it is the single most important thing you can do for your ears during takeoff and landing. A simpler option is to chew gum, suck on hard candy, or sip water during ascent and descent. The chewing and swallowing motion automatically opens the tubes and equalizes the pressure. Bring a pack of gum specifically for this purpose. It is the cheapest, easiest fix when flying. If you have congestion, allergies, or an active cold, the pressure problem is worse. The tubes are often partially blocked, so equalization struggles. A decongestant taken about 30 minutes before the flight can help, but check with your doctor first. Some flyers also swear by special pressure-reducing earplugs sold at airport pharmacies. Babies and small children have the hardest time with this because they do not know how to equalize. That is why you will often hear infants crying during takeoff and landing. Their ears genuinely hurt, and they have no way to fix it. In 2026, ear pain at 30,000 feet is normal physics, not a personal failing. The gum in your pocket is the answer. Mistake 5. Putting a power bank in checked luggage can ground an entire plane. This is one of the most overlooked airport rules in 2026, and it can have consequences far beyond just losing your charger. First-time flyers who carry a portable battery for charging their phone, the small rectangular device many travelers own, often pack it in their checked suitcase along with other electronics. This is illegal under FAA regulations. Lithium-ion batteries, the kind found in every modern power bank, are banned from checked luggage on commercial flights in the United States and on most international flights. The reason is fire safety. Lithium-ion batteries can occasionally fail catastrophically, generating intense heat and flames. In a crowded cargo hold, far from cabin crew and fire suppression systems, a battery fire can spread before anyone even knows it is happening. Multiple incidents over the past decade have led to actual aircraft fires from this exact cause. The rule is that all lithium-ion batteries, including spare phone batteries, laptop batteries, e-cigarettes, and power banks, must travel in your carry-on bag, where they are accessible and any incident can be detected and dealt with immediately. Here's where it gets serious for first-time flyers. If airport screeners detect a power bank in your checked luggage, they do not just confiscate it. The bag is sometimes held back from the flight entirely. In rare cases, especially for international flights, the entire plane can be delayed while the bag is investigated. Your $20 power bank can become a $20,000 problem for the airline. If you forget and your power bank slips into checked luggage, the worst that usually happens is the bag arrives at your destination, but the power bank is missing, removed by airline staff somewhere along the way. Sometimes you get a note explaining what happened. Sometimes you do not. The fix is absolute. Any power bank, spare battery, or lithium-powered device travels in your carry-on bag, period. If you are unsure whether something has a lithium battery in it, treat it as if it does. Phone, laptop, tablet, electric toothbrush, e-cigarette, electric razor, portable charger, all of it goes in the bag that stays with you. In 2026, the power bank rule is one of those silent dangers first-time flyers do not learn about until something goes wrong. Do not be the person who delays a flight because a Best Buy charger ended up in the wrong bag. If breakdowns of small but important travel rules like this help you fly smarter, hit subscribe. We do this every week. This is the stuff most travel guides skip because they assume you already know. Mistake 6 is the TS, a pre-check and clear confusion that wastes time at security. First-time flyers walking up to security see signs and lanes labeled in confusing ways. Regular line, TSA pre-check, clear, clear. Plus, some airports have all four. The lanes look similar and the signs are subtle. First-timers have no idea which one applies to them, so they pick the regular line by default and watch other travelers breeze through faster lanes for reasons they do not understand. Here is what each one actually means. TSA. PreCheck is a paid program from the TSA that costs around $80 for 5 years. Once approved, you get a known traveler number printed on your boarding pass, allowing you to use shorter security lines, keep your shoes on, keep your laptop in your bag, and skip several other parts of the standard screening. To get it, you apply online, attend a brief in-person interview at an enrollment center, and pass a background check. Clear is a private company, separate from the TSA. Clear uses biometric verification, your fingerprints or your iris, to confirm your identity. You pay $189 per year for a Clear membership. With Clear, you skip the line where TSA agents check your ID and boarding pass, walking past that check to the actual screening. Clear does not change what kind of screening you get. It just gets you to the front of the line faster. The two services work together at most airports. Clear plus TSA. PreCheck is the fastest possible combination. Clear alone gets you to the front of the line, but you still go through the regular screening. PreCheck alone gives you faster screening, but no line skipping. Neither alone gives you both benefits. For first-time flyers and casual travelers, neither program is necessary. You can fly perfectly fine through the regular line, especially in 2026 with the new CT scanners and the shoes-on rule. But for travelers who fly more than 3 or 4 times a year, TSA PreCheck pays for itself in save time alone. The fix for first-time flyers is to know what you are looking at. Don't be intimidated by lanes you cannot use. Don't accidentally walk into a Clear or TSA PreCheck lane without the right credentials. The agents will turn you around politely, but it is a wasted trip. In 2026, the airport security ecosystem has grown more layered, and first-timers benefit from understanding the menu before they walk up to the counter. Mistake 7, the last-minute gate change that strands first-time flyers. First-time flyers find their gate, sit down, plug in their phone, and assume they can stop paying attention. The gate is the gate. They will just wait until boarding starts. Then the gate changes. This happens more often than first-time flyers realize. Airlines reassign gates due to aircraft swaps, weather, ground operations, and 100 other operational reasons. The change is usually announced over the airport intercom, sometimes posted on the screens at the gate, sometimes only updated on the departure boards in the central concourse. If you are not paying attention, you can completely miss it. The classic first-time flyer scenario goes like this. You arrive at Gate B12 2 hours before your flight. You sit down, watch your phone, and eat a snack. The boarding time on the screen above you reads 7:30. At 7:35, you notice no one is boarding. You look up. The screen now reads Aircraft Change, C Agent. There is no agent at the desk. The plane that was supposed to be your plane is not there. You have missed the announcement that your gate moved to Gate C28 in a different concourse 15 minutes ago. The fix is to actively monitor your gate from the moment you arrive until you board. Check the departure board every 15 to 20 minutes and listen for announcements over the intercom. If you have airline notifications enabled in the app, those usually update faster than the screens in the airport. Sign up for those alerts before you fly and turn them on. If your gate does change, do not panic. You usually have plenty of time to walk to the new gate, even at large airports. The airline does not want you to miss your flight. They want everyone on board so they can leave on time. But you do have to actually get there. Some airports make this worse than others. Major hubs like Atlanta, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Chicago O'Hare see gate changes regularly. Smaller regional airports rarely do. International flights at major airports are especially prone to last-minute reassignments. In 2026, your gate is a moving target. Watch it like a hawk. Mistake 8, reclining seat etiquette, is a war that first-time flyers walk into blind. This topic genuinely divides experienced flyers, and it creates more onboard tension than almost anything else. The seat in front of you reclines. Whether to use that recline, when to use it, and how aggressively to use it is one of the most argued about questions in modern travel. First-time flyers usually do not even think about it. The seat reclines, so they recline it. They lean back to sleep or relax, settle into the plane, and do not realize they have just dropped their seat back into the lap of the person behind them. Then they hear sighing, maybe muttering, maybe a passive-aggressive seat kick, maybe an actual confrontation. They wonder what they did wrong. Here is the unwritten code that experienced flyers know. Reclining is technically allowed. The seat is designed to recline. You paid for the seat with the recline button on it. But there are situations where reclining is considered rude, even though no rule prohibits it. Do not recline during meal service. The person behind you is trying to eat off a tray table that is now jammed against their chest. Wait until the tray is collected. Do not recline aggressively. Slam reclining without warning into the person behind you is universally considered hostile. Recline gradually. If you can, glance back first to make sure the person is not leaning over their tray or laptop. Do not recline on short flights. Recline is socially acceptable on long-haul flights, especially overnight ones. On a 1-hour flight, reclining is technically allowed, but generally considered unnecessary and inconsiderate. If you are tall, you have already lost the recline war. The seat behind you does not have room. Reclining into someone's knees just makes both of you miserable. The fix for first-time flyers is to think before you press the button. Look behind you. Consider the timing. The recline button is one of those small things that mark you as either a considerate flyer or a person other passengers will silently resent for the entire flight. In 2026, the recline rules are not in any handbook, but other passengers have memorized them. Mistake 9. The airport tipping confusion that gets first-time flyers in trouble. American tipping culture is famously confusing, and the airport adds a few specific layers most first-time flyers do not anticipate. Whether to tip, who to tip, how much, and when varies enough that even seasoned travelers occasionally guess wrong. Here is the rough guide. Sky caps are the porters at the curb who help with checked luggage, and they expect a tip. The standard is $2 to $5 per bag, more if the bags are heavy or the service is exceptional. First-time flyers who let a sky cap handle their luggage and then walk away without tipping have just stiffed someone who works mostly for tips. The sky cap remembers this even if you do not. Wheelchair. Attendants who push passengers with mobility issues from check-in through security to the gate also work largely on tips. The standard is $5 to $10, depending on how far they pushed and how helpful they were. The wheelchair service itself is free, but the labor is not. Servers at airport restaurants are tipped exactly the same as restaurants outside the airport. The standard is 18 to 20% for sit-down service and around 10% for counter service if you want to acknowledge good help. Being at the airport does not change the tipping math, even though pricing is often higher. Bartenders at airport bars are usually tipped per drink, typically $1 to $2 per beer or simple drink and more for cocktails. Same as a normal bar. Where first-time flyers often get tripped up is the assumption that airport workers are paid more because they are at the airport. They generally are not. Sky caps and wheelchair attendants in particular are often making minimum wage, with tips making up most of their actual income. The fix is to keep some small bills in an easy-to-reach pocket before you arrive. $5 to $10 bills are perfect, not because anyone will demand a tip, but because being prepared keeps you from fumbling for your wallet when the moment arrives. In 2026, the airport runs on a tipping economy that does not appear on any sign. First-time flyers who learn the unwritten amounts pass through with the goodwill of the staff. The ones who do not learn become the kind of customer whose staff remember for the wrong reasons. Mistake 10 is the post-landing stand-up rush, the moment that traps first-time flyers in awkward positions. Here is a moment that defines first-time flyers more than almost any other. The plane lands. The wheels touch down. A flight attendant comes on the intercom and announces that you have arrived at your destination. The seatbelt sign is still on and the engine is winding down. People around you start to fidget. You stand up. You are not the only one. half the plane stands up. The middle aisle fills with people pulling luggage from overhead bins, hunching over because the ceiling is too low to stand fully upright, packed shoulder to shoulder with strangers. Then everyone stops because the plane is not actually at the gate yet. It is still taxiing. The doors are not open. There is nowhere to go. For the next 5 to 12 minutes, you stand there, hunched, holding your bag, while the plane creeps to the gate, slowly turns, parks, finishes its shutdown sequence, and finally opens the doors. By the time anyone can actually leave, your back hurts, your arms are tired, and you have gained nothing by standing up early. Experienced flyers do not do this. They sit calmly until the plane is at the gate, the seatbelt sign turns off, and the people in front of them actually start to move. Then they stand up, retrieve their bag at a reasonable pace, and exit smoothly. The reason first-time flyers stand up early is anxiety. They worry about missing something, holding up the plane, being last off, or losing their bag. None of these are real concerns. The plane will not leave without you. Your bag in the overhead bin is not going anywhere. The line moves at the same speed whether you are standing in it for 10 minutes or 30 seconds. The plane also unloads in a specific pattern, front to back, row by row. Standing up before it is your row's turn does not speed anything up. It just makes the aisle harder for everyone. The fix is to stay seated until your row is the next one moving. Use the time to gather your stuff calmly. Check your seat back pocket. Make sure you have your phone, wallet, charger, and any items you pulled out during the flight. By the time the people 2 rows ahead of you start to move, you stand up, grab your bag, and step into the aisle without missing a beat. In 2026, the post-landing stand-up is the small detail that separates first-time flyers from people who have done this 50 times. Sit 1 extra minute. Save your back. Save your dignity. So now you know. 10 more airport mistakes nobody warns first-time flyers about in 2026. Skipping online check-in. The surprise prohibited items. The direct versus non-stop trap. The ear pressure pain. The power bank in checked luggage. The TSA pre-check versus clear confusion. The last-minute gate change. The reclining seat etiquette war. The airport tipping rules. And the post-landing stand-up rush. These are the smaller, quieter mistakes. The ones that do not ruin trips outright but create dozens of small moments of discomfort, confusion, or social friction. The ones that mark you as a first-time flyer to anyone watching, whether you realize it or not. The good news is that almost every one of these has a 30-second fix. Check in online the day before. Read the prohibited items list once. Look for non-stop flights, not direct flights. Pack gum for your ears. Move your power bank to your carry-on. Understand which security lane you actually qualify for. Watch the departure board. Recline gently. Tip the sky cap. Stay seated until the plane is at the gate. Do all of that, and your first flight in 2026 does not just go smoothly. It looks effortless. The strangers around you assume you have been flying for years, and the next time you fly, almost everything is already automatic.